Thank
Pittsburgh
you.
can.
Good. All right. And just so you know, Warren has started the recording, so be forewarned. Um, we are being recorded. And I will actually start in just a few minutes because I did have to send out an update yesterday, changing the time from 2 to 2:30. But I originally had it scheduled from 2 to 3:30. Wait a minute, I said that wrong. From 2 to 2:30. But I originally had it scheduled from 2 to 3:30, and we'll still finish up by 3:30. So it will be a few minutes before we get started. Thank you for your patience.
Nancy, I can stop the recording. I just wanted to do it so I didn't forget.
Okay, just a quick update. We will get started promptly at 2:30, so we've got about 5 minutes. Thank you. Hey, this is Nancy again. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that so many of you are waiting. Did you all get my email letting you know that the final regulations were in fact released today? I sent a
Yes.
link. No?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do my best here in the next few days to try to absorb and distill the information in the final guidance. And then late next week, I will send something out that hopefully will provide some clarification for you. Unless, of course, you want to read the, what, probably 800 pages. I haven't even looked yet.
I'm fine with you doing it.
I appreciate your doing it.
Well, I'm going to do my best to, at least get a little bit of a handle on it. And then I'll be going to Minnesota for training on the national reporting system changes. I don't know how firm or what they're going to be able to present to us, but at least I'm hopeful that I'll get more information there as well. So even though I'll plan on trying to send something out by the end of next week, the week after that is when I'll be going to Minnesota.
Okay.
At least it's not winter.
No doubt.
Now, I noticed there are a couple people on the phone. I'm hoping that you have called in for the audio portion, but that you will have the screens as well, because this is going to be one training that it's very important to be able to see what I'm doing on the screen. And if you're having trouble seeing the screen, check with Warren, please, so that we can try to get you access. We will
You're
be
recording so that we can refer back, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank
And
you.
staff that's not available today. There's a lot of people out on vacation, of course. So the recording will be for staff that are not available today. It'll be for new hires by the fall. Any purposes that you can think of.
Just FYI, I'm sitting in my office with my shorts and flip-flops on.
Well, then I'm envious. Now, I'm not necessarily going to ask you to mute, but I will say that, be careful as far as putting us on hold or anything like that. Or if there's a lot of commotion in your area, please then do mute your line. But I'm certainly willing to take questions throughout, so it's not absolutely necessary that you mute through the whole thing. And it is 2:29 on my clock and 2:30 on my screen. So I'll wait another minute. Certainly those of you that have been waiting since 2 o'clock, I don't want to hold you up any longer. Okay, one last thing of housekeeping. Can all of you see both of my screens? You should be seeing the Skype screen with Warren's pretty picture and the PowerPoint screen at the same time. Jason
I see
Hendricks
them.
says, yep.
Yep, we can see them both.
Great. Okay, well, in that case, we will go ahead and get started. For those of you that may not know, I'm Nancy Olson. Let's see what these messages say. Okay, everybody says yes. I'm Nancy Olson. I am the Associate Director for Accountability and Assessment, but I'm also right now the Interim State Director. Warren and I are going to be your two Northstar gurus to provide technical assistance throughout this next program year. If you have a problem that we can't address, then we do have technical assistance available through Northstar. Part of the reason that the cost of Northstar is so low is that they do want to limit the amount of technical assistance, so they want us to be the first line of technical assistance. For those of you that don't know, the Northstar assessment is technically free, but we have decided to purchase the capability of having proctored assessments and awarding digital badges and having the reporting and tracking features. So with that said, I will go ahead and I will let you know that Susan Simons has joined me. So if you hear her in the background, you'll know why. But I will go ahead and get started. Okay, so there's two ways to use Northstar. As I mentioned, we have purchased the option for everyone statewide to use the digital badges and the reporting. But there is also a public free site to use Northstar where you can have the students take the assessment and then print out those results. Now, why would you do one versus the other? Well, let's say that you don't care about digital badges, you don't care about reporting and tracking, you just want your quality points. If you don't ever, and let me stress the ever, because I'm not sure 6 months from now we can go backwards. If you don't ever plan to offer students digital badges or use the reporting functions, you do not need to sign up to be a sponsor site. So you have everything you need to use Northstar without doing a thing, if that's what you want to do. You do not need to train official proctors, but you would need to print every assessment result at the time the student takes it, because the minute that student closes that screen, those results are gone. If you're not a sponsor site, if you're not, if you don't have trained proctors, if they go in and take that assessment without it going through that proctoring process, their assessment results don't stick around. The minute they shut that screen, they're gone. So with that said, you can still qualify for quality points, but you would have to print out every assessment result, track that yourself, and put it in the student file for documentation purposes. So what's the advantage to doing the rest of it? Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but first I want to show you, just in case you've not already looked, I'm going to show you the public-facing Northstar site. So here I am. I'm not worried about providing digital badges or tracking or reporting options. I just want the students to be able to take the assessment. I've already given the student the screening tool, which I sent out to all of you on paper. Travis is working to get that online for us, but of course his schedule's pretty packed. So we're not waiting for that. You can just use the paper version. It can be copied a million times. There's no problem with that. There's no cost. So
there's all kinds of problems with it, though. It's hard to tell what it's pointing to.
On the paper
and for us old folks, we need an answer key.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that. We'll make sure that we get you an answer key to the screening instrument. Susan's taking notes for me. Okay. But let's pretend for a minute I've done the screening instrument. All I have to do is go down here. I set the student in front of the computer. Student sits down, they click on basic computer, and it starts. And it goes through an orientation. I'm going to skip that. And then it goes through the module. Okay. Once you finish this, it gives you.
You're cutting out, Nancy. We can't hear you. You're cutting out when you're whatever you're doing. We can't hear you. You're too far away from your microphone.
Oh, okay. Well, let me try
Okay,
to.
you're good now.
Okay, you know what it was? It was when I had the Northstar app open and sound playing from that. It must have been interfering. I won't have it, nothing I do from this point on will have additional sound to it, so we should be fine.
Okay.
Okay, but once that person finishes the basic computers assessment, the score is going to pop up on the screen along with some information about the ones that they missed. You would have to print that out right then and there if you're not logging in through the sponsor site. Okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and go back over to the PowerPoint, and I'll go back and forth a little bit. Um, so what do I do to be able to offer digital badges and have the reporting features available to me? The first thing I have to do is become a sponsor site under Kansas Board of Regents. It is free, pretty much primarily free to local programs, and I say primarily because if you have a large program with outreach sites, there could be a small charge to add additional sponsor sites. I know that, for instance, Neosho had communication with Northstar and with me and discovered that they could have their additional sites through one sponsor site and not have to pay any additional charge because the grand total was not over the amount of students that would normally go through one sponsor site. Is that correct, Krista?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And do you know what that number was?
A couple hundred, 300.
It was 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of our programs will be fine. Once again, I think Johnson County, possibly Kansas City, are about the only ones that might run into a problem. And even if they did have to pay, the negotiated cost for that would be $150 per site.
Well, and we assumed that a lot of our younger people are going to probably score over that 85%. So
yeah, and that very well could be the case. But keep in mind that you may want to do a second assessment if they score over 85% on the basic computer module.
yeah.
So, okay. So, what's the advantage to awarding certifications called digital badges through Northstar? Well, the advantage is that it is an actual certification that the student can take to an employer, take to a workforce center, to prove that they have skills at this level. So I think it is a very valuable thing for our students, and I hope that most of you will go ahead and go through the sponsorship and the proctoring required to be able to award digital badges. To do that, you do have to assign and train proctors. You have to register learners and get a learner start code, and you have to enter a computer authorization PIN. Now that sounds like a lot, but when you actually do it, it's all very simple and very fast. The proctor training, well, let me go back here then. Let's see. We're going to just very quickly go to the becoming a sponsor. So,
Nancy, I went through the proctor training and I'm typing up a manual for my staff. So
who is this talking? I'm sorry.
this is Krista.
Oh my gosh. Well, Krista then is going to share
I'm certified. So
with me, right?
do what?
You're going to share that manual with me?
Absolutely, I will, because I'm certified. But I will tell you that I was not paying attention during the first part of the Proctor Code of Conduct because I thought I knew all that. And I did not pass the test the first time. I had to go back and take better notes. So pay attention when you're taking the proctor test.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long, but yes, thank you very much, Krista. It doesn't take very long, but you do have to pay attention because I'll tell you what, I did kind of the same thing, and I passed with the minimum passing score.
Well, I missed it just barely, but like I said, I think I missed 2 or maybe 3. You have to have an 80%, and the second time, of course, I got a 90, and I still missed 1 apparently. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, you do have to pay attention, but it goes pretty quickly. It takes about 20 minutes.
So I went back and took very detailed notes as I was going through it. So
okay. Well, the first step to doing all that is to become a sponsor site. If you've not already done this, and several of you have, that's great. I'm thrilled to pieces. But if you haven't, you will need to go to the Northstar, and I'm going to go back to the home screen. You need to go to this screen, and it's in the PowerPoint that I'm going to send out to all of you. And then you come up here and click on Becoming a Sponsor. Ignore what it says about the cost because the state has already taken care of that. You will fill out the online application. Now, this is important. One of the things that you will need to do is to put down at the bottom of the application in the comments section, okay, right down here. You see where I am? Right there? Okay. You need to put that you are part of the Kansas Board of Regents Adult Education Program. Otherwise, they will scare you by telling you that they're going to charge you $300. Krista was afraid she was going to get charged about $1,200.
Yep.
So she found out the hard way that you have to identify yourself as being part of the Kansas program. Once you do that, you submit, and then they will send you a login and password and everything to get in. Now, one of the things that's a little bit different about Northstar is they tell you right in the email that if you need to share this login with staff, that's fine. So don't tell my IT people because they would freak out. They go crazy about that kind of stuff. But it says you should share this new password with any approved staff members. So you don't have multiples, you have one for your program that everybody uses. Okay? All right, so back to the PowerPoint for a minute. After you receive your login and your email with your login and your password, then you can go to the admin interface and log in there. And I need to go backwards so that I can do that. So I'm going to go to the admin interface, and you notice I've already got my login in there. Now, what you will find is if you have not already done the proctor test, or if no one in your organization has done the proctor test, there will be no names. That's okay. If I click on submit with just the select in here, it gives me the screen that I need to then go to the training to become an approved proctor. Okay. Again, the training is very short, but yes, they do have to pay attention. Okay. The next thing, after you go to the proctor training and you get trained as a proctor, and now you want to start putting students in and testing, right? Okay. Well, after you complete the proctor training, it will then add you as a user. So you notice I'm in here as a user. When I submit that, it goes back to that same screen. I can then generate user codes. Now, even before I generate a user code, because that's for the students, I need to let Northstar know that I'm using a computer that is connected with the sponsor site. Okay? I do that by generating a computer authorization pin. And here's where you click and boom, you get a computer authorization pin. You notice it's the same one as on my PowerPoint. So Kansas Board of Regents has one computer authorization pin. You will have one computer authorization pin. And then you have a place to enter that. Oh, let's go back.
Nancy, do you know, and I haven't asked because I've only authorized Neocho, is that gonna do I need to do that with my proctors, my staff at each site?
They need the same computer authorization pin. So you'll only have one, but they'll use it at every site.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So then I want to register students. All you have to enter to register students is their name. And you can copy and paste an entire list of students into this box.
What happens if we have multiple Maria Martinez's or something?
I would say to put a middle initial in, or to, somehow differentiate. Huh?
Oh, a hyphenated last name.
Well, if there is one, yeah. But yeah, you can, or you can put, you could probably, I'm a little worried about the certification, whether or not you can change their name when you print out the certification. But I was going to say, if they actually have the same middle initial and all that, I suppose you could put first, middle, and last name. If there's absolutely no difference, I guess you could put 1 and 2 or something. I'm worried about then printing out the certification.
How do you do it when you're in Pablo? Because if you would have 2 of them in Pablo, you'd have to distinguish between them somehow as well.
They have a student number?
Social security number in there.
Yep.
So they're distinguished with that number.
Well, I'm just saying because I know I go through and I double check the duplicate stuff like that. Well, I guess it's mostly on social security numbers, that type thing. So maybe I'm not coming across the duplicate names that much. But no, I do. I check on duplicate names as well, and usually there is like a middle initial or something like that, so that people don't get a call from me when I'm confused.
Right. But there are times when it could be the same middle initial, or there's no middle initial for either one of them, and then we have the social security number. Here we don't have that, so you'll have to make sure that the name, that you can tell by the name or some other method. Okay. So I submit the name, and I get I get a code. So I take that code, and I'm just going to, for my purposes, copy it, but you would probably want to print out the list. Okay. I've already done the computer authentication. And let's see, hold on. Just a second.
Nancy, Chrissy was asking if with the proctor number, site number, does that mean that they can only use one computer to test students?
No, you can put that, that's just it. You can put that computer authentication number into any computer.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we are going to go to, hold on. Back. The problem with links, having a link in a PowerPoint, you have to go back to it. Okay, So then we're going to go to the Proctor site. And you notice that this is where we select the local program, okay? So let's see. I even saw some of you guys in here. I'm going to do Ellsworth Adult Education. Oh, wait, I can't. I'm going to have to do keyboard. My computer authentication code won't work for something else. Okay, Kansas Adult Education, that's me. And I'm going to paste my authentication, and I'm going to log in. Uh-oh. Why did it not work? Authorize this computer. What would training be without a hiccup? All right, that's a lot longer. Yeah, and it didn't like that either. One more try, and then I give up. Hold on just a second. Make sure I've got the right one. Maybe it won't let paste work. Yeah, there we go. It doesn't like it when you paste things. Lesson learned. Okay. So now I am where it would start with the student. Okay. So this is the point at which, so the proctor is going to be the one that logs into whatever computer it is before you actually start the students. And then I'm going to put my name in and put my start code in. Oh, wrong one. Oh, no wonder. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. I copied and pasted the start code. No, that's why it didn't like it. Okay, so I am going to confirm, and then I am going to not start because you guys don't really want to see this. But so here it is. Here's the proctored site. So even though I didn't real smoothly do this, it didn't take very long for me to set up a student, log in as the proctor, authenticate the computer, and then set the student up on this particular computer to take the assessment. If you walked through it a couple times, I'd say that you could do it in 5 to 10 minutes easily. Once you authenticate the computers, I believe, and this I'm not 100% sure about, but I believe that's the only time you have to do it.
So you authenticate it the first time, and then the next time it's already been authenticated?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so, but I will do some testing and find out.
We'll find out too.
Oh yeah, you guys will find out really fast. But you know, here we are. Okay, now let's say that I have finished my assessment, and I'm now the proctor, or I'm the adult ed director, and I want to go back and I want to find out how everyone did. Then I would go to the agency site. Oh, I take that back. You're entering the student name. That's not the reporting that I'm talking about. The reporting that I'm talking about, I apparently don't have this. I don't have it linked. Okay. Let's see. Oh, here it is. View your Northstar page. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I had all the links I needed. But view the Northstar page. will take you to where you put in, where a student would put in their name or you would put in their name. If you go back to this, view the recent proctored results, that's where, if I had any, the results would show. Now, the other thing I can do is search assessment data. Now, when you view the proctored results, what's going to come up there is a list of students, whether or not they got the 85%, and the badging. You'll have the opportunity at that point to print out the digital badge. Okay, now let's say that you don't print out the digital badges and the student takes 2 more tests, 2 more assessments, and the student wants the digital badge, but you don't want it, I mean, they don't want it necessarily all 3. So I can enter the name or the verification code from the badges and get all of them in one badge. So the generated certificate here is for any and all badges they have available, but you can also print the badges as they get them through this View Recent Proctored Results. The group comes up with the View Recent Proctored Results. So if you've given 10 students the assessment, all 10 are going to be listed on that View Recent Proctored Results. Now, the generated certificate is individual. Okay? So I would recommend trying to do it with the View Recent Proctored Results the majority of the time, but you know how students are. I'm sure you're going to have to generate replacements. So in that case, this generated certificate will give you all of their digital badges that they have at that point. Yeah, if it's gone through the sponsor site with a proctor. Yeah. Now, one of the things that you can do if you want to start doing some testing, some playing around with this, use something like student 1, student 2, test, student, and your program name, okay? So that, for instance, you're using student 1 Barton, student 1 Johnson County. Okay, so that we know that it is a fake student. And you can play around with this. And the nice thing is that this is not something that we're paying per test. It's not anything that we have to worry about having extras in there. So we're in great shape as far as playing around with it and testing it out. If you have students around this summer, it's a great time to have them start in with it. The other thing is that there's no strict limit on a student taking an assessment more than once, although the recommendation is that they always have at least a limited amount of instruction between the assessments. So what I read in like the frequently asked questions section was an hour minimum of instruction prior to taking it a second time. There is too an online user manual. It's a great user manual. I wish TABE had something like this because it's all linked. So, you click on something and it goes down to the place that it starts. Of course, then you have to go back up.
Nancy, couple of questions have come up. The most recent one is there any instructional resources within Northstar?
Okay. Yes and no. There are instructional resources. Let's see if I go back to the admin page.
Chrissy says that there are under under
Resource.
educators, and look for learning guide.
Okay, but there's also this resource library. Okay, if you're on this administrative page, they call it the administrative use interface. You go to this resource library, and you've got a ton of information um, on the use, code of conduct. Here's the curricula to teach the beginning computer, beginning email, beginning internet, Word. Okay, but there's also a separate site that has all of the curricula that has been built around this program. And I can show you that site if I get into my bookmarks. Let's see. Oh, this is something else.
Chrissy's also saying that the learner's guide that's under educators is, or learning guide that is under educators is organized by module.
Okay. Okay. Here's the website that has the screeners and everything. And it even has screeners in other languages, which we don't want to use. But let me go back to my bookmarks. I clicked on the wrong one. Let's see. Nope, that's not it either. Dang it. Sorry, too many bookmarks. I should have been prepared for this question. I wasn't. There we go. Okay. Here's the website. Write this down. Make sure that you get this, because this has this is, I'm sure, the one Chris is talking about.
Yes, it is.
Are you going to send that to us?
It's in the under educators. There's a link right there. You click on it, it takes you directly to what Nancy was showing you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go under educators, scroll down, and it says learning guide somewhere in there. Keep going down the page.
I'm at the bottom.
I don't remember where it's at exactly, but I know it's there. It says learning guide. Or
here it is.
okay.
Okay. Right under what curricula align with Northstar, the small public library created a learning guide, and there you have it.
That's what I use all the time. But you need to know that when you, like, if you go to basic computers module 1 and you click, it's all organized by what you missed, you know, so when you print out what your students have missed or haven't missed, it's organized, you know, has the same questions and stuff. You can look at what they've missed and go click on those. But it opens up a new window, so you just got to pay attention when you're closing something that you're not closing this page. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Remember, if you're giving the assessment without it being proctored and without going through the sponsor site, then if you close that, it's gone.
Not necessarily. We have found them in the history.
Oh, really?
Go back to history on that computer, it is still there.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, we've been using it for a while as obviously not a proctored site, so we've just been practicing and playing around with it, and we've discovered a few little things that if they accidentally close it, we just said, oh, let's go see if it's still in history, and it was there.
Okay. Now, you are going to go ahead and sign up as a sponsor site.
Yeah, we're intending to. We just haven't done it yet because it was good for a year, so I was waiting to start it tomorrow at the beginning of the fiscal year.
Okay.
So for a whole year.
Okay.
Nancy, Kelly also brought up something about entering government ID.
Entering what?
Government ID for students.
You do not need to.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
She said that Donna had run into an experience where it asked for it, and she didn't know whether it was something that could be skipped over or what.
Where was that it asked for? Does Kelly not have audio?
I'm here. We're here. We were just muted.
It was in the Proctor training. It said that you can't register a student without having a government-issued ID in front of you.
Oh, what they want to do, what they're telling you as a proctor is that you need to make sure that you identify the student.
As a student.
Yeah. But
So even if we have a student that doesn't have an ID, we can still let them do this. We're not entering anything.
Yes.
Okay.
And if in doubt, okay, so if in doubt, do it through the non-proctored site.
Okay.
They just won't get a digital badge, but we're not requiring ID. Basically, what they're asking as a proctor, what they're saying as a proctor is that you have to be assured that who is standing there is who they say they are.
That it's our student.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would refuse to require you to ask for ID for this purpose.
Nancy,
That's great. That was our concern, so thank you.
Nancy,
Yeah.
this is Christy. I just have a question. Like at the end, if you're not a sponsored site, and you take the assessment and successfully passes it, they are offered a badge through. I mean, I don't remember. It's through Mozilla Backpack. You can save your badges. You get access to a badge.
Okay. I don't remember seeing that, but I can check into it.
Well, because I did it myself. I went ahead and did all the tests except for number 9, which is new to me anyway. But if you successfully pass, they ask, do you want to accept your badge? And you don't have to, but you do. If you do, then you have to create a Mozilla backpack, and then all your badges are kept online in a Mozilla backpack, which is you just use your email address and create another account.
Okay. So I guess that's an option. I've not run across that yet. I mean, of course, I'm learning this. I know I'm doing the training, but I'm learning this at about the same rate you guys are. I'm maybe, a couple days ahead of you.
Do we not have time to quickly go through like basic computer? I mean, it would take 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, to do it right. I don't know. I mean, we have time if you guys want to do that. Do you want to see the result?
I mean, I've seen them, but I don't know about other sites. There are 28 people on this webinar, and I don't know who's done what,
Okay, I'm turning over. There. Okay, now I turned off the audio. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Well, you can put closed captioning on so that if you can't hear the audio, you can at least read the captioning. Down at the bottom where it says the bottom left, it says CC.
Got it. Okay. All right, so we'll go through this. You guys have to help me with questions.
So which one's desktop?
Laptop, monitor, printer, keyboard, system unit, USB port, the jack where you plug in headphones. Okay, click on the picture of the mouse. I'm going to be embarrassed if I miss these.
We would laugh. Can we laugh?
You can laugh. Absolutely.
That's on these, I'll tell you. These, because I changed mine. Mine is a dinosaur and a horse, so I had forgotten. What?
Okay, so which mouse pointer will open the file folder?
Hand.
Huh?
I think it's the hand, right?
Yeah, it's got to be the hand, isn't it? Okay. We'll write in the document.
Yeah.
Open a hyperlink. Uh-oh.
I think it's an arrow. I don't know.
No, it's the hand.
I don't know.
I think I got that one wrong. You can change the mouse buttons for left-handed use. Yes, true. You can make it larger. Yes, I can make it larger. What does this picture mean? A software update is available, or your computer has been hacked. No, I'm just kidding, but okay. Which of these are storage devices? And this is multiple, so you can click multiple and then next. The next 7 questions are about the keyboard. Okay. On the keyboard, first click on the key that will help you start typing on a new line.
We have enter key?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a typewriter. Click on the key that makes all letters capital until you press it again, so that'd be cap lock. Click on the key that helps you copy when you push it and see at the same time. That'd be control. Click on the key that helps to make a question mark when you push it and question mark. That'd be shift. Click on the key that deletes letters and numbers to the left of the cursor. Backspace, right? Or is it delete?
To the left would be backspace.
Okay, thank you. Click on the key that moves the cursor up 1 line.
Yeah.
Click on the key that moves the cursor to the next tab stop. All right. Thank goodness that one's over. Okay. Next 3 questions. Click the button that turns on the monitor. Click the button that turns on the computer. Click the button that turns off the monitor. Okay. Logging onto a computer. Log on with library lab, and the password is 53476. See, I did better with this password. Okay. Next 6 questions using the mouse to control the computer. Double click on the documents folder to open it. The picture shown, right click to open the desktop menu. Select refresh. The picture shown, drag the document into the recycle bin. Select address, links, and desktop. Select organize. What am I? Oh, there we go. What did it say to do?
Something about, I can't read it. Something about folder.
Select folder and search option.
Thank you. Open all programs, scroll down and select Microsoft Office. This is hard to do when they're, the thing is disappearing.
We're all watching you.
Well, that too. Okay, next question is about adjusting the volume. Turn the volume up. Okay. Mute the volume. Okay. Icons. Double click on the icon that opens an internet browser. Double click computer control. Okay. Come on. Okay. Recycle bin. Open the trash. Okay, come on. Why is it taking so? There we go. Last question. In the picture shown, move my resume to my documents. Great job. 92.6.
Look up at the top. See where you can grab your badge?
Oh, okay.
But you have to create like a Mozilla backpack. You have to follow the steps.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Huh.
I mean, you don't have access to the admin stuff where it keeps the list of all. You still need to print. That's what we've been doing, is printing out everything. But the student could, if they felt like it, keep that badge and have access to it.
Yeah.
What
So,
I did is I just printed them out for myself, and then when a student passed this last year, I would just make a copy of it rather than going to that whole rigmarole of.
yeah. Now, one of the things that you might want to do when you're doing digital badges, I know money's tight and everything, but I think it's really neat if you can do it upright, at least with a little heavier paper than normal.
Yeah, we've been putting them on certificates and then printing it on the back. So you passed basic computers, congratulations, and then on the back, you can put that copy of that badge that shows what they're able to do. But did you see where the questions we missed? Then you can go to your module and you can study those 3. So you would go back to your learning guide is what I call it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, if we go back to the module, here's the stuff on the mouse, things like that. So yeah, so it's great that, we have the free curriculum that goes along with it. And you're not required to use it, but it is available to you. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the questions that we have, because it's that time. Now I'm going to close my assessment results, even though I probably should print them. You know what? I am going to print it.
So Nancy, can I ask while you print, if you don't pass it, you do instruction and then go back and do the same assessment as post?
Yes.
It's all the same test, right? Pre and post?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember, you're using the screening. If the student gets 10 or more right on the screening, then you would go ahead and use the actual assessment. If the student doesn't get at least 10 right on the screening, then you should probably do instruction before giving them the assessment. There's just no sense in giving them the assessment more often than you need to. And the screening is simple enough that if they can't get at least 10 right on that screening, they should not even come close to 85% on the assessment.
Nancy, can notes be used at any point in assessment?
No.
Okay.
No, you shouldn't. That's not a part of the proctoring or anything like that. So I don't have anything that would indicate that that was acceptable.
Okay.
Okay. So the questions, okay, so the question was about the post, one of them, oh, we got a lot of them, dang. Sorry, when I had 2 screens up, I couldn't see any of them. So I am sending out the slides, okay, and I will add that additional website link to it before I send it out. Okay. You should be able to use multiple computers in a computer lab. You just put in the same computer authentication. What will happen is that the proctor will need to sign on first, put in the authentication, and then the student will have their start code. So they'll put their name and their start code in. Okay. So the government ID thing, we talked about that. So we're not, the proctoring, when I did the proctor training, what I took away from that was that they wanted you to be able to say, yes, this is the person that they say they are. Again, if there's any doubt about that, then do it through the non-proctored site. What they don't want to have happen is digital badges to go in a name of somebody who didn't actually take the test. Okay. Okay, so there is no post-test different than the pre-test. It's all the same. Okay. And there's a question about, are we testing English language learners as well? And the answer would be yes. as much as you can. I think in the quality measure, we did eliminate levels 7 and 8, did we not? Go back to your indicators to determine that, but I think we eliminated 7 and 8. Chrissy said that they're only testing levels 10
That was a
to
mistake.
12.
We're testing 9 through 12.
You are testing 9 through 12. Okay.
Go back. Yeah, it's 9 through 12.
Okay. Okay.
I changed my answer a few.
Yeah. Now, just like the hated Technomedia, I would recommend that before you give an ELA student or an ELL student, whatever the common terminology is today, before you give an ELL student the assessment, that you work on vocabulary in addition to working on the curriculum of digital literacy. So, that would be kind of that whole workforce preparation skills piece too, that vocabulary. Okay, so the next question was, so after the screening, if they get 10 or more right, they take the first test of Northstar Module 1, and if they get 85%, then are they done? So they are, they're done as far as that module is concerned. However, it is in their best interest and your best interest for quality points if you go ahead and let them work on further modules, because the second quality measure involves them getting successfully completing an additional module. Okay, and then Kelly is asking Chrissy specifically how her students are doing on these assessments. Chrissy, do we have you?
I'm typing an answer.
You could just say it.
I forgot. I can't type and talk. Okay, now I'm done. So as you can see, and I teach 11, 12. So you would have to talk to Renee about the 9 and 10 level students. But my students probably 50-50, and it's not necessarily that they don't know how to use a computer. They just don't know the name of stuff necessarily or the vocabulary. But about 50-50 probably passed the first time. And if they pass, then I move them on to the next assessment until they reach one that they don't pass, and then that's what they get instruction on. So if they don't pass computer basics, they get instruction on computer basics. If they pass computer basics in email and web and don't pass Microsoft, then that's what they get instruction on.
Okay.
And I use the learning guide because it's already there.
Yeah.
And I have them focus on the questions they miss and study that, and then have gone back to take a second test.
Renee is here, she can talk too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
My students, they do a good job on passing a lot of the tests. Some of mine have even passed basic computer without any instructions. So it really varies from student to student, but some of the younger students already know some of the computer vocabulary, and so they can pass it the first time.
Okay. So we had a lot of, in discussion initially about Northstar, both for the committee and with the program leaders meeting. We had a lot of discussion about the ELL population, and
way easier than Technomedia. I gave up on Technomedia a long time ago. And this one is a lot more user friendly because it's just user friendly. It's like
yeah.
Well, and the other thing I think that's it's not, you're not taking modules to learn the content. It's just an assessment, and the content, the curriculum comes from somewhere else. I mean,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like they're not having to sit and drone through all of the modules and then take the assessment. So you have a little bit of freedom with that piece. in my opinion.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so Sherilyn Smith from Wichita wants to know if we record the digital literacy in Pablo. Ultimately, yes, but right this minute, no. We have to get the changes, as we're doing WIOA changes in Pablo. I will work on getting the changes needed to record the digital badges or the 85% passing in Pablo so that we can, it's going to make my life a lot easier if I can get a report out of Pablo for quality measures than if I just have to get it from anything else. Even though, I don't know very much yet about the reports in Northstar. I know they're there, but as far as how user-friendly they are, what I can get as far as the state as a whole, I don't know yet. But so ultimately, yes, I want to be able to record them in Pablo. However, if we find that Northstar reporting gives us everything we need, then I'm not sure that we want to have to enter more in Pablo. So we've got some time to figure that out, because luckily we do have the reporting options in Northstar, and that should be sufficient to be able to award quality points. Now, as I mentioned early on, if you choose, for whatever reason, to give students the assessment outside of the sponsorship, then it will be up to you to provide that documentation for quality measures. Okay? Somebody was getting ready to say something?
I was just going to say that.
Okay. Yeah, you want to make sure. Well, tomorrow is the first day that this is going to count. So, I however you want to do it to begin with, but I would really encourage you to move towards the sponsorship and the proctoring and all that. Number one, I think it helps you out to have that reporting option. Number two, we really should be making sure that the proctoring takes place the way it should. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't put them on the public site and let them do it and still be monitoring them and still be proctoring them. You certainly can. But, with the proctoring and the sponsor site, it's a little more official. So, Kelly, did you have...
Yeah, Nancy, do I remember you saying that the initial assessment should be done during orientation?
The screening.
The screening.
I think the best thing for you guys would be to do the screening during orientation. Now,
and that's paper now, but that's going to be computer-based assessment.
Yeah, eventually it will be online, but right now it is paper.
Okay.
And I sent that out. But if anybody needs a copy or needs the website to get it, I'll be happy to send that to you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Kelly. Kelly says, congrats to the committee. We are pleased with this. So I'm really glad to hear that. I think it's all pretty user-friendly. I really do. Not just the assessment itself, but even the proctoring and the sponsor sites and all that. It really isn't, there's not too many hoops that you have to jump through. Yes, you have to get that authentication code, and yes, you have to get the start code for the student, but once you've done that, I think you're in pretty good shape. Yes, I will send the link to the screening with the email. Make sure you don't get the screening in Somali. There's different languages for the screening, so make sure you're using the one in English. I don't think it's really fair to students to, even if it's their home language, I don't think it's fair to do that and then expect them to take the assessment in English. Okay, so we are right at 3:30 or 3:31. I'm fine with taking any more questions. It's not a problem. but I don't want to hold you guys up if you need to go. So any further questions for the good of the cause?
Hold on real quick, Nancy. Donna had one more quick question. I'm going to let you answer or ask her. Let her.
Nancy, I'm unclear as to the purpose of this pretest. What does that determine?
The screening pretest determines whether or not there's any point in giving the assessment to an individual prior to instruction.
Okay. All right, I'm clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, the students that take Northstar right off the bat, take the assessment and get 85%, they're not going to go into your total number with completing the, at 85% for the quality measure, because you're not doing anything to impact that.
But they could go into the other quality measure, into the other cohort.
Yes, they could. Yes, they could. Once a student either walks in the door with skills enough to get 85% on the computer basics module, or you provide instruction and they get 85% on the basics module, then they go into the cohort for the second quality measure, which is obtaining proficiency on one of the other modules. Or is it one or two?
One of the other modules? I don't know.
I can't remember. I'd have to go back to the indicators.
Yeah, so, that I don't know.
And the latest indicators are on our website, so you can double. You want me to check while you're on the phone? All right. Sure. Susan says I should, so I'm going to. Oh, wait, it's in the wrong place. Let me get this moved so it makes more sense. Okay, so let's take a look here.
Which quality measure is it? I don't remember.
Measure 5.2. I've got it on the screen. So it's one. It's one other one.
Just one other one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody want to talk about final guidance? I'm just kidding. Oh, yes. Happy July 4th.
There we go.
And this is a good time to tell you that I'm taking Tuesday and Wednesday off. So I will be out of the office Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Susan is taking Thursday and Friday off.
Well, enjoy your break.
Thank you. Thank you.
Other words, I'll have an emergency next week.
A lot of you have my cell phone number.
And ditto for me.
And ditto for Susan. So
and Warren's going to be here.
And Warren is going to be here, and he has our cell phone number. So if it is an emergency, you can get a hold of us.
Warren, you sucker! You got suckered into staying, didn't you?
Party!
Somehow I don't find that to be true.
Oh, and see, and I was just getting ready to say he acts like he works the rest of the time.
Yeah. Burn.
So we're getting silly here. So any other questions that actually are about Northstar?
No, I'm good. We'll just wait for your PowerPoint. Thanks.
Okay, now I will also send out the link to the recording when I send the PowerPoint. Okay. So it will be either yet this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Thank you.
I